The biggest lessons I've learned in my life are here. Through different topics, I'm going to inspire and motivate you to reach your success and your dreams. I'm so grateful that you're here on Journey to Success. So let's enjoy my next episode together. Hi guys, my name is Fabio from the Fabio podcast and welcome to a new episode with the special guest, Dr. Glen. How are you today?
Excited to be here.
Right, very good, very good. So, let's start, right? So, I'm very, very happy about this interview. So, let's see. And I read your story and I was fascinated by it, but before we get into the details, before you discover this eye condition and everything, let's go back in time a bit and tell me exactly about your typical day. Okay, not so much hard, so just your typical day up to the moment when you received this news. Go ahead.
Okay, well, at that time, I was in my fourth year, my last year, studying as an eye doctor. And I was the top student at the school in New York, top school for optometry, which was my father's profession. And I'd been elected as the president of the American Optometric Student Association. So I was representing 4,000 student doctors. I was kind of a known personality there in the school. Right. So when they diagnosed me, when the ophthalmology professor discovered that I had beginnings of glaucoma at age 25. He knew my scientific background and interest and said, starting at this early an age, if you just follow, the standard of care and medicine, it slows down the loss of vision, but it doesn't stop it. So starting so early, he expected I would be blind in my 40s with the standard medical treatment.
So that's what the medicine say. That's what the modern science says, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And okay, so I think it must have been difficult to have discovered something like that anyway, so intense and out of the ordinary. So do you remember your feelings, or how was it?
Well, it was a bit of a shock, but it was also very motivating to apply my interest in health and nutrition, which actually I had thought about going into natural medicine, naturopathy. Even though my dad was an eye doctor, I knew I could do good work as an eye doctor, but I was really interested in nutrition. So this made that all the more important to find the underlying causes, remove the causes, treat the causes, whatever they turned out to be, to prevent blindness.
So you try to experiment basically on your body.
Yes, I searched high and low. My first practice was in Tokyo, Japan, set up a research clinic and brought my father's work and other American vision therapy work, vision improvement work to Japan for the first time, but also got to meet and learn from doctors there, ophthalmologists doing electroacupuncture and nutritional work and herbal medicine. So got to learn a lot there and just kept learning when I got back to the States, worked with my dad for a few years. And that was back in New York, where there's lots and lots of things going on, lots of seminars on alternative medicine I could access. So I just reached out in every direction I could to learn what was working.
All right. But before to reach these, how can I say, before to reach this way to understand how to cure this disease, right? Maybe you were in crisis or not, or you were just sure about the alternative. So how was it?
No, not crisis. Just highly motivated, which again was in alignment with my personal interests already. It just propelled me forward at faster speed than otherwise, and probably beautiful. More focus. Yeah, just
Wow, I mean, this is beautiful. Like mostly people have a grief about it, right? Because it's like someone says to you, "Hey, you are gonna miss something from your body, something that you are not gonna use anymore." But looks like in your case, you didn't grieve so much. So that's
well, because I hadn't lost a significant amount of function. There was enough, enough signs there that the process was happening, but it wasn't stopping me from being able to function in life. So that's why it wasn't a big loss. It was just a big threat.
right.
Facing the potential of being blind in my 40s. It's like I have 15, 20, 25 years to head that off. So I had to see what was possible. Unfortunately, I did. And along the way, I found out that if I hadn't been on that mission, I would have actually over 99% chance I would have died of a stroke in my 30s. So what I discovered
Also,
was I was actually dying of mercury poisoning, and that would have taken me out before I lost.
and also for that, the science, the doctors say to you that you would have had a stroke, like
Yeah,
99%.
I actually had some small strokes. I had times when I couldn't, temporarily couldn't remember my own name, my own phone number from childhood that was still, where I was living at that time. Again, that's very scary. That was more scary than the diagnosis of potential blindness because it was actual loss. And I had times where I lost
Mm.
partial vision temporarily. So TIAs, transient ischemic attacks, which are small strokes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's interesting. Looks like, in your case, looks like, you know what, it is what it is. It's time to act. Looks
Mm-hmm.
truly
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And
Definitely time to take action. I actually had to, in order to be able to afford, once I found out what the problem was, to be able to afford to do the healing work, which included a lot of dental restoration, taking out 14 large amalgam fillings, little by little, with support for mercury detoxification, because you get exposed to more when you take them out, but you're eliminating the long-term exposure. Um, and to work with the naturopathic doctor that I found who was really able to help me in Canada. I had to give up to be able to afford it. I had to give up health insurance and life insurance, and
no
just
way.
that was my sole focus, was staying alive, getting my life back.
Wow. And Dr. Glenn, can you tell me step by step, like you reached looks like you reached the cure, correct? So would you like to tell me the cure of this disease? So let's by step. What did you do?
Well, so when I found out that I suspected mercury toxicity
Mm-hmm.
because I had 14 large amalgam fillings. But I had done trace mineral analysis of my hair, urine testing, and it didn't show mercury. What I learned from my teacher, my doctor in Canada, was that I'm a non-excreter. My body was not strong enough to excrete the mercury, which hair and urine are both excretion tissues. It's something coming out of the body. And my body was storing it up in my pancreas in particular, and my brain, which I'm still, even now, 40 years later, still eliminating mercury from my brain. I've been through so many challenges with that, with all kinds of health problems as my body cleans out the mercury from different tissues, one organ after another, and the brain is kind of the last. There's a lot of fatty acids, and mercury is fat soluble, so a lot of it does store in the brain, and it goes directly to the brain up the nerves from the teeth. So it's a major storage depot. Mercury is known as the great masquerader of the heavy metal mineral kingdom, where it can cause any disease, any symptom, just solely dependent on where it's stuck in the body. It can block any pathway. It's just so destructive. It can break blood vessels. Uh, it's known for bleeding, which is one of the features of glaucoma, actually, where there's small micro bleeds in the blood vessels around the optic nerve is characteristic in glaucoma. But in
Right.
conventional medicine, we just say, well, it's just a sign of glaucoma. We don't talk about why are those blood vessels breaking.
Hmm. Fair enough. And also the diet helped you, as understood, correct? So that the
Totally had
diet.
to, yes, definitely had to work with diet. Although the most significant therapies were uh, nutritional and botanical nutritional natural remedies, uh, natural medicines, and also other natural therapies, light therapy, electromagnetic therapies like pulsed electromagnetic field therapy and microcurrent types of therapies where we're working with the energy. The body is, the difference between a live body and a dead body isn't chemistry, it's energy. We have to measure the EKG of the heart or the EEG of the brain to say, oh, the person's dead. And then sometimes they come back to life when the electricity turns on again. So
Okay.
energy is extremely important, and of course the nutrition is very important.
Nice. And you didn't reduce the disease. You totally
I
deleted.
I still, there was no further progression. I still have normal vision today. In fact, I don't even wear glasses at age 68. Uh, so yeah,
Well, I
it's
have a normal glasses as well. I mean, it doesn't count that one. I mean,
no, but I did wear glasses back then. So it
so
just, when we improve health, so many things improve.
it's so
I had
true.
other visual problems that cleared as I cleaned up my system and nourished it and detoxified.
So true, so true. Actually, maybe something out of topic, right? I decided to take a teaspoon of honey every evening because I truly read that honey gives a lot of benefit, in terms of everything. Skin, memory, esophagus, so makes you feel very, very, very healthy. And I would like also to start this, let's call challenge, with the chocolate, but like
Mm-hmm.
real chocolate, 75, 80% chocolate. I mean, we have the tools and the instruments, the food to live in the most healthy way, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe we don't do, maybe because we are too much lazy. I don't know. You can answer me on that question actually.
Yeah.
But it's where we don't do enough. It's pity.
Well, yeah, a lot of it is the world we live in. Just in the last 150 years, our access to whole foods and nutritious foods has
Yeah.
completely transformed. So much of the diet is processed and refined. Most people eating honey are probably eating cooked honey, which doesn't have all those benefits that you're talking about. With I'm sure you're finding a source for raw honey that does have things like B vitamins that are in the honey are destroyed by heat. Uh, so, for example, leading cause of blindness, one of the things that I'm focusing on now, because we're able to help people not only prevent but reverse, even though the medical texts still say it's irreversible, but we have just so many cases and letters from Harvard-trained retinologists saying, I've never heard of this or seen it, but this person was legally blind and they're regaining their normal vision, functional vision, where they could pass a driver's test. It's called age-related macular degeneration, or just macular degeneration.
Okay.
So it's the leading cause. It affects 1 out of 3 people over the age of 75 in America, and it did not exist before there was refined food. It still doesn't exist in rare parts of the world where there isn't access to processed and refined foods, where people are just eating from the earth and from gardens and farms and fresh foods,
Yeah.
whole foods.
I think it's the
So,
best. I think that what it destroys us is actually the processed food and the
mm-hmm,
sugar. Like we
mm-hmm,
have sugar everywhere. It
yep,
wasn't like that maybe three decades ago, so or more actually.
yep, yep.
And
It's a big issue, and
it's a
even
big issue.
our medicine is a big issue. There's
Yeah,
so much
they
of the
call the
chronic
modern drug. I mean, makes sense.
drugs are not healthy. They're not health promoting. The way they talk about it, what's described in medicine, is that we're managing symptoms of disease. And was the case with glaucoma. They could use drops to lower the pressure in the eye, but that's not, there's more glaucoma with low and normal pressure in the eye than there is high pressure. It's just what we can measure and manipulate with a toxin. We can stop the eye from producing as much fluid. And so, which the body tries to make more fluid flow to clean out the tissue. So we're really stopping the cleansing process in order to manage the symptom of the disease. We're not helping remove the cause of disease. In fact, we're probably contributing to the causes of many diseases. We know that 1 out of 3 people who go into a hospital will come out with a new disease. We call it iatrogenic disease, caused by doctors, caused by the treatments and the drugs, and surgery is controlled damage by definition. It's not. It can be essential for restoring health sometimes, or for preventing further damage. So it's not that we're entirely opposed to judicious use of certain drugs and surgeries, but they are considered the standard of care, the standard treatment, where doctors used to take an oath, maybe they still do, but I don't know how much anyone thinks about it or believes in it, to first do no harm. It doesn't mean first do no harm and then do harm. It means above all, the other interpretation or translation of it, above all, do no harm. Which means we should be avoiding surgery and drugs as much as possible.
And what about, I read also about, maybe you mentioned as well in the interview and I wasn't careful, about algae proteins and stem cells. So do you know anything about it?
About which proteins? Sorry.
Algae.
I'm not understanding the word.
Algae is algae is oh my god. Well, listen, I'm gonna spell for you. Yeah, maybe it's my English. All right. So it's A for Anna, L for I don't know, L. Algae.
Oh, algae.
Algae! Oh my god! Okay, I'm so bad at my English. It's very bad sometimes. Algae protein. That's so true.
We certainly use algae proteins.
All right, there we go.
And algae is green, like blue-green algae are great support for cleansing. They bind. It's one of the best binders for mercury, for example.
Because they say that generally it's good for eyes, but I don't know if they meant also about disease like you had it. Before we go through, if you're enjoying this podcast, please consider taking just 3 seconds to share it with someone else. It is a small gesture that could make a big difference in someone's day. Now, sit back and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Yeah, well, in my case with mercury, like chlorella would be the number 2 best binder for pulling mercury out of the body through the gut, so it's not reabsorbed back to the liver and back to the circulation. The very best that we know of so far from recent research is actually the fiber in strawberry. Which need to be organic because strawberries are particularly bad when they're sprayed. But organic strawberries are very good. So we recommend that when people eat fish, which naturally has mercury in it, it can have more if it's from polluted waters, but even fossil tuna fish from 50 million years ago shows a high level of mercury because it's high on the food chain. So it's always been there. So eating strawberries, organic strawberries with the fish is very, very helpful. As a person who's very sensitive to it, I can feel the difference if I do that. Or if I don't have access to the strawberries, I'll use the algae.
All right. That reminds what my mother used to say to me. She used to say, eat salmon. It's good for your memory and your eyes. So and carrot as well. So she always used to say.
But I would avoid the farm-raised salmon. And I mean, the oceans have their challenges these days as well. But yeah, salmon is a smaller fish than tuna, so that's preferable. It's lower on the food chain. There's even smaller fish that are They're great.
Yeah, but now salmon is so fake that maybe doesn't even
Yeah,
work so much.
if it's farm raised, it may not even be salmon colored because of the carotenoids that should be in there, um, that are helpful for the very helpful for the eye, very protective of the eye against free radicals from light. Uh, it's part of the damage in the retina. But they'll put an artificial dye in to make it look like it's healthy salmon. That's a
Yeah.
problem. We don't need
Yeah.
artificial dyes. They don't help us.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't even think we have to look so much far. Also, when I go to the shop, the big shopping center, and I take the vegetable there, other fruits, and I'm trying to not take it so many more times. But when I do, then I wash, with water or soda, and then I have a proper color that goes out from the fruits. Like, it's shocking, you know. So also these things make me wonder in which kind of world we are right now, and then we are
Mm-hmm.
surprised that
Mm-hmm.
disease like cancer grow during the days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cancer also didn't exist a few centuries ago. The first cases were noted in chimney sweeps in England, in London, because they were exposed to all that soot from the cleaning chimneys and the heat and the heat and sunlight and dark clothing that's absorbing all that soot, which has carcinogens in it. And it was testicular cancer was the first
I didn't
cancer
know
that was
that. I
described.
didn't. Oh
And
my god, I didn't
now
know that.
1 out of 3 or 1 out of 2 people get cancer in their lifetime. It's become a total
M-
epidemic
More
for
common.
all the above reasons: the environmental problems, the diet deficiencies, even the nutrients in our food are depleted because the soil is depleted. We used to put manure on the fields in the spring, and that would put minerals back in the soil. We've been mining the minerals out of the soil, and while they can put NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, 3 minerals back in, they don't put magnesium, they don't put other things that would be in the manure. And so those are depleted in the soil. They put NPK fertilizer because they can grow a proper size and color and and weight
Yeah.
vegetable that they can sell in the market as though it has nutrition in it. It looks like it has nutrition in it, but it really doesn't. Or tomatoes.
Wow.
They're picked green and then exposed to a gas to make them look red, but they don't really have much lycopene in, which is another one of the carotenoids necessary to prevent blindness in old age. It's the one that's deficient in the blood in people with macular degeneration. And there's totally a whole different level of lycopene in a vine ripened tomato, and they taste different too. You can tell
Yeah.
this looks like a tomato, but it doesn't really taste like much, And then you taste one fresh off a plant that's ripe off the plant, and it's like, wow.
No, but it's true. Yeah. Also, that reminds me when I used to eat once ago fish from the metallic box, right? And I don't know the name, and the glasses from glass. So like the difference is truly huge, and I don't know. It's just weird. So, guys, just if you have any disease, try to eat a little bit healthy, and it's not miraculous, maybe, but for sure it's gonna help a lot. So
Yeah, and if you can
that's what I
find,
think.
organic farmers in
Yeah,
your local area where the food's not just, picked in South America and shipped to, thousands of miles and stored in a warehouse where it's all depleting more energy, and that helps a lot to know your farmer and or
yeah.
have your own garden.
Also, I'm Italian, so I'm living here in the Netherlands, but
Uh-huh.
I'm from South Italy, and in South Italy we eat, I would say, very healthy.
Right.
Uh,
The
y-
Mediterranean diet is well
yeah,
known for its health benefits. Yeah.
yeah, it's true. But unfortunately, we still live in a world where, also in South Italy, where it's faster and faster, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think that's the real disease. This
Yeah.
fasting way to,
Mm-hmm.
and you go out and then you go to your job and then you go back and then you have a family.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this brings you. It's not an excuse, but truly leads you to eat bad.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
shouldn't be. Yeah, I'm not
Yep.
saying, as I said, it's not an excuse, but unfortunately, then we are too much tired, too much lazy to cook, and it shouldn't be, because it's very important to. It's like when you, I don't know, I can say this. I think we are like a car, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but a good car has to, we have to take care about who
Mm-hmm.
we are. So it depends what we put inside. So if in this car we put the latest bad petrol, of course, is not going very well for so long. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's the same
Mm-hmm.
example for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Sugar is like water in your gasoline.
So yeah, exactly.
Destroys the engine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
right. So whoa, it's we are flying, and well, I have just a couple of questions, general questions. So now you are clearly in a better place. So my question is, who is Dr. Glenn today? Tell me.
So today, my current mission is to go from what I've been doing for 40 years of learning as much as I can about health and healing, and then applying that, since it worked so well for me, applying it to my patients. I've retired from being a licensed doctor because there's plenty of people doing that, but coaching and consulting. And the last 10 years, I've been creating my own formulations because I got frustrated with the limitations of what was available on the market. We're making remedies that are cleaner, they're more comprehensive, they're more concentrated, because nobody, none of us, we're not made to swallow capsules, but yet to take medicine, to get medicine in, like, say, Chinese herbal medicine is notoriously bad tasting in many cases. So,
Yeah.
and you have to take a whole bunch of it to get the effect. So I'll get the most concentrated extracts of the herbs, the most active forms of vitamins and minerals, put together. There'll be many, many factors, like, say, with glaucoma, many different herbs, many different nutrients that are involved in the process that the body needs in order to heal and cleanse and repair. And so we put as much as we can. It'll be sometimes 2 or 3 dozen ingredients in one capsule. And say, take an herb like ginseng. A full dose of ginseng for a meal would be a whole capsule, but I can get a concentrate that's 80% ginsengizides, the most active compound in ginseng, and where we only need 7 milligrams. So it leaves me, 493 milligrams for other ingredients that'll be synergistic with that. So we're getting just amazing results with that. You mentioned earlier
Nice.
stem cells. People who have had damage and want to repair and restore their health and function, their body. Stem cells, people are hearing more and more about it, but mostly what they hear is they can go somewhere and, pay thousands of dollars and have stem cells injected into their body, maybe their own stem cells. But our body has stem cells, and those stem cells, our body is smart. It's smarter than doctors. It's beyond science. We're still just learning
Yeah.
how amazing the body is at healing itself. A Band-Aid doesn't heal the body heals itself. So stem cells will activate when we create the right conditions, the right support, the right stimulation. We don't need to inject stem cells. And in fact, it can be dangerous to inject stem cells if the body's not prepared, not in a healthy enough state for those stem cells to grow into the healthy, normal tissue. I've seen where a client of mine who'd been working with me for a few years went with a couple of her friends to have stem cell, cutting edge stem cell therapy. Her two friends both died of cancer within months to a year, where, this is a couple of years ago. She's just fine. Her body she had done preparation. So you have to be, even if you're going to have stem cell injections, I would caution people to make sure you do lots and lots of natural healing first. And in my opinion, from what I've seen, if you do that, you won't need the injections. Your body's own stem cells will reactivate when the terrain, what we call the terrain, the conditions of growth, just like the soil in a garden. When the soil in the garden is healthy and balanced, it's going to grow healthy plants. If
Yeah,
it's out of
right.
balance, certain weeds will grow in order to regenerate the soil, and that's, there's a purpose for for weeds too, just like there's a purpose for bacteria in the body. The microbiome, we're learning, is incredibly important to health. Before disease appears, there's always a loss of diversity and health of the microbiome.
Wow. So yeah.
So
Anyway,
yeah, there's so much to it, and yet
yeah.
it's all a coherent whole. How the body works together. We don't have to say, "Oh, we're going to diagnose this measure this one thing like blood pressure or cholesterol levels or blood glucose, and say now that's the disease, and we're going to treat that by manipulating that one thing with a toxin that yes manipulates that one thing, but it doesn't make us healthy. It just makes the numbers on that one measurement look more like they are in a healthy person. There's a difference. There was a study in England where they looked at that. It's rare because usually drug companies don't want to look at the big picture. They want to say, here's the one thing that this manipulates. Now we can sell this. We can license it, even though it's
Yeah.
toxic.
Yeah.
But they did a study on hypertension, high blood pressure, with drugs, and all of the doctors were convinced that their patients were healthier because their blood pressure numbers went down. They were high, they went down. They asked the patients, they asked people, the patient's family, and they asked people in the community, like the pastor of that the church that the person went to. Everyone else besides the doctor had the same opinion, but different than the doctor. They said, no, this person doesn't seem as healthy. They're not as energetic. They're not as active. They're not as vital. So quality of
Um,
life, isn't that important? I think so.
I think so as well. And
And it's a clue. It's a clue.
yeah, but it's true. And also every time that I do an interview, like it's unbelievable. 2 up 4 times. Always, I meet people where they say to me, I had just to eat a little bit good and in a healthy way, and now I feel better. So it's always about health at the end of the story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely beautiful, truly, and but we should also to understand more this concept, than
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. And I don't mean you, but I mean us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and wow, great, and yeah, well, we're done. And before we conclude and say goodbye to our listeners, is there anything else would you like to add or share, Dr. Glenn?
Well,
Tell me.
I love sharing this, and I've just recently I have many books and
Yeah,
websites
go on.
and videos and things, but I've recently consolidate putting everything courses and videos
Mm,
and question answer and access into an online interactive community where we can talk about these things and share and for
nice.
doctors, for patients, for caregivers, for self healers and that's at a site called school.com is the platform, and then slash all heal, which is the name of our nonprofit organization, all heal, ALLHEAL,
Yeah,
and invite people to join. It's free access. I believe in open access. I don't believe that you know my mission is to hold back the information so that I can, make more money on it or something. It's no.
yeah,
The purpose is to improve the
it's
quality of life
true.
for all of us.
Give free value, it's also the most beautiful things. And
Yeah,
then of
yeah.
course, if you receive something in a money way indirectly, it's always good, but
We
also
have
give for
plenty
free.
to offer, that we
Yeah,
can't do for free. And again, I have
yeah,
books that you can buy on Amazon or uh, all the websites are free, but a couple have stores with our 150 plus formulations, again, that are very unique and concentrated and comprehensive and getting amazing results. Like in glaucoma, we're seeing patients who've lost, a lot of vision over the last 10, 20 years. And many of them, when they follow our recommendations with our personal individual coaching and consulting, where there's a cost for that because it takes our individual time, but where many of them are actually restoring over half of the vision that they've lost. Again, the textbooks say that it's irreversible, it's permanent loss of vision, the cells are dead. We're finding that's not true. A
mm,
cell can stop serving vision because it doesn't have enough energy. It's not healthy enough, but the cell is still there. And if that cell recovers the energy and the nutrition and the detoxification level, it can restore visual function. We don't know how many cells are actually dead in a given person, or even whether stem cells can regenerate those cells. That may be, we don't know. When I went to school, they said, oh, if there's scar tissue in the nervous system, like in the retina or the brain, it can't heal. No, we have a formulation for reducing scar tissue that has tremendous effects, and very quickly seeing changes in scars in a week or two. Even though they've been there for decades. It's healing. We don't. My conclusion is we don't know what can't heal. We can only find out what can heal by trying. But we heal with nature. We don't heal with toxins and damage.
I believe it. And listen, science and medicine always improve, but they have to understand that they can improve better if they implement inside natural things, So I totally agree. And this, with this was a very beautiful interview. Thank you so much. And very, very beautiful. And the time, it's truly like flow. And thank you so much for being part of this episode with Dr. Glen. And see you in the next one. Cheers. Here we are. Congratulations. You just finished my entire episode. So, the only thing I ask is to take a moment to give Journey to Success a rating. By the way, thank you so much for being here on Journey to Success. I'm very grateful. Thank you, and see you next time.